Count Ridley.
I beg leave to ask the question standing in my name on the order paper.
My Lords, the Tobacco Products Directive, which will come into force from May this year, will provide a new regulatory framework for vaping devices and e-liquids, assuring their safety and quality. The government recognises that e-cigarettes can help people to quit smoking, and that quitting smoking completely is the best thing a smoker can do for their health.
My Lords, I thank my noble friend for that helpful reply. Given that the Prime Minister in the other place said that 1 million people have given up smoking as a result of taking up vaping, including, I believe, my noble friend Lord Brabazon of Tara, and given that the public health benefits of this are in the order of £74 billion, and given that the main losers from this are the pharmaceutical industry, who are seeing falls in the sales of patches and gums, does he agree with me that the pharmaceutical industry lobbying may be behind the attempt to regulate these products too heavily and possibly to shackle them with an excise tax? And could he give an estimate of any Department of the Health estimate of the size of the black market that is likely to result from this directive and whether or not it will result in people going back to smoking?
My Lords, I think the benefits of e-cigarettes are well understood, and the figure of that 1 million people have given up smoking by taking up e-cigarettes, I think, is a valid and true figure. The tobacco regulation that he refers to does not have any proposals for an excise tax. It is purely related to ensuring that these products are used safely and are to a given quality.
My Lords, the noble Lord will know that the impact of this directive is to make it much more difficult for e-cigarettes to be promoted. My Lords, why is that, given the clear benefit to the public health? The government's answer is public health programmes can substitute for it. But this government has slashed those public health programmes. My Lords, given the Prime Minister's success in negotiations in the EU about a change in direction, can he now confirm in any case that presumably we won't now have to implement Article 20 if we don't want to?
Well, I think the origins of this directive were in part because a number of European countries wanted to ban this product, and the fact that there is a directive which will have a regulated market means that British manufacturers will have access to those large European markets. The main, as I understand it, the main issue that maybe the noble Lord is concerned about is the fact that where the nicotine content, the strength of the nicotine content goes above 20 mgs for 1 millilitre, then it will have to have MHRA approval, which may indeed mean that the higher strength nicotine substitutes, if you like, are less readily available, but that is done on safety grounds.
But, my Lords, as I've already been quoted on this question, I wonder if my noble friend the Minister would agree that I am one of those who smoked for many, many years and haven't had a cigarette now for 2 years because I've taken up using one of these devices. Can my noble friend tell me why these devices are included at all in the Tobacco Products Directive? Because they're not a tobacco product.
Well, can I also congratulate the noble Lord for giving up cigarettes and taking up these other products. I don't know whether he's tried unicorn blood or crab leg flavours, but there is a multitude of flavours available on the market, and I think the directive purely has come about because of the feeling that nicotine is better than smoking, but it's not perfect.
While these products are clearly much less harmful than smoking tobacco, they are not entirely harmless. They have a lot of noxious chemicals in them. So what is the government doing to inform people about the research on the potential hazards of these products, including reduction in resistance to infections, reductions in fertility, and behaviour pattern changes?
I think that these new products, they're not, as I said, they are not perfect, but they are very, very substantially better than smoking cigarettes. And one of the purposes of the new directive is that there should be proper labelling on the product.
My Lords, the noble Lord dismissed the idea of an excise tax, but there is a strong rumour that there is an intention in the EU to impose a tax on these products. Will the government do everything they can to counteract this counterproductive suggestion?
Well, as I said, any proposal for an excise duty is not part of the tobacco directive, as I understand it. But I would agree entirely with the intent behind the question, which is that we should be promoting this product, not discouraging it.
A classic, my lords. Is this not a classic?
In addition to what my noble friend sitting next to me has just said right at the beginning, that these VAPAs ensure that there is no harmful effect on passive smoking, which you normally get from cigarettes. And in addition, there's research in New Zealand which shows that it's a far better way to come off smoking than placebo or the patches. So that saves the NHS money. So is this not just another example of this thing as a badly thought through draft directive?
My Lord, I think there is evidence that e-cigarettes are more effective, or certainly as effective as other nicotine, or as nicotine replacement therapies. And I think the Noble Lord is right that there is no danger from passive smoking, which is why that there is no plans that I'm aware of that the ability to smoke in public places does not, or the inability to smoke in public places does not apply to e-cigarettes.
My lords, do we really need this sort of interfering directive from Brussels? Are we incapable of looking after vaping devices ourselves?
Well, I think we are capable of looking after vaping devices on our own, but of course if we ever want to sell into the European market, we will have to abide by those regulations.
Lords, is it not perfectly obvious that what is happening here is that big business is lobbying Brussels in order to shut out competition, and that these e-cigarettes cost less, which means that the impact of highly regressive taxes on tobacco are limited, and also enable people to save their health? Could my noble friend admit that the government is powerless to do anything about this?
No, I don't admit that the government is powerless to do anything about this. I don't believe that the origins of this directive has anything to do with limiting competition, but actually are based in trying to have a regulated market where safety and quality are guaranteed.
Lord Shipley.